Welcome and good afternoon. Most of you are probably already familiar with PointClear and Worry-Free Labs, but for those of you who are not, we're the partner technology companies rely on to accelerate innovation and create solutions to complex problems. We strategically design, build, manage the world's best software and mobile applications, apps that achieve technology, business, and healthcare goals. I'm Erin Christopher, Director of Marketing for the PointClear family of brands. While my title isn't product manager, in previous roles I've directed the development of new product originating with the collection of client feedback compelling the new product development to delivery of the product in the marketplace, including post-launch release management. And I can honestly say my mom was right. I learned more from my mistakes than my successes. Hopefully I can save all of you a little time and help you avoid some of those mistakes. One quick housekeeping item before we start. We've accommodated for questions during the allotted time today, but please submit your questions using GoToWebinar control panel, either via questions or chat, and my trusted partner Kevin will help get those answered at the end of the webinar. So I've delayed enough already. Let's jump in. 6 simple steps for launch success. 1, start with a plan. Plan early, reflect, and adjust often. Your launch plan should be part of your initial product launch plan as the goals are the same. 2, develop clear positioning and messaging. 3, establish clear goals. 4, build internal excitement. 5, tell everyone. And 6, don't forget, timing is key. While all of the tips discussed today hold true regardless of the circumstances of your launch, it's important to note that the tactics you take will vary depending on whether you are launching a completely new product, launching a new product to enhance an existing product suite, or launching a new version of an existing product. Tip number 1, create a plan. We can't control the wind, but we can direct the sail. Not everything will go as planned, but good planning means 1, having a plan, 2, having the foresight to know that things don't always go as planned, and 3, having the wherewithal to maintain control and steer the ship to blue skies, even in a perfect storm. To do this, build your plan in phases that have loose time frames. In the sample we're about to look at, the phases may be measured in months, or in your case, maybe it's weeks. Each product and project is different. Phase 1, initial planning. Phase 2, pre-launch activities. Phase 3, sales and channel partner launch. Phase 4, launch day. And Phase 5, staged releases. Working in a staged approach has 3 key advantages. 1, bite-sized chunks are more manageable. 2, some tasks have dependencies. This will prevent you from putting the cart before the horse. And 3, flexibility. You can't plan for what you can't plan for. By working in phases, you ensure that any unanticipated issues can be addressed, and the plan for the remaining phases can be adjusted accordingly. For a plan to be successful, it isn't just about identifying the tasks, but making sure that every task has an owner. Note, in the plan you see here in front of you, there are 7 tracks running concurrently. From pricing and branding to distribution and sales force development, be sure to identify an owner for each track, especially if they lead a team of people executing on these tasks. None of these efforts can be done unilaterally, so be sure to engage stakeholders early and often to ensure that everything moves smoothly. Release management. In mid to large organizations, product management, product marketing, and communications can all have direct or indirect ownership. Clearly define who owns launch responsibilities and goals. Understand the unions and assign clear primary and secondary ownership where needed to avoid dropped tasks. For all of you looking at this Excel spreadsheet thinking, there's an app for that, you're right. There are a ton of tools out there that you can use to manage tasks from Trello to Jira to Basecamp and probably 1,000 others. But I'm taking it back old school to the spreadsheet. This is still the most reliable when it comes to communicating quickly and is a wonderful tool to help you get through those weekly stand-up calls. If you become Basecamp blind like I have, you don't even check when you get an alert. Forcing this 1 time a week or 1 time a month forces everyone to take a look at all of those tasks holistically and how they impact dependent tasks assigned to others. Release management planning. This needs to be upfront as part of the planning. As noted before, there will be variations depending on the product launch, whether it's a new product or an existing product. It's important to establish regular release cycles. To maintain and potentially improve customer satisfaction, continuous delivery of new release functionality is essential. Amazon has mastered this, going from weekly to daily releases. Outlook has also done a great job of not only having continuous delivery, but tracking and notifying the customers that contributed to the new release functionality. Establish a release infrastructure early, create lightweight processes, test early and often, automate and standardize. Automation can pay dividends. Whether you invest in the tech or you partner with a firm who's made this investment, this is an essential component to any release management strategy. Establish positive expectations. Be sure a core component of release communication is what is different about this version and how will it change the user's life. Number 2, establish clear positioning and messaging. Find your purpose and communicate it in a way that holds maximum value for your audience. To do this, you're going to need to analyze customer and market research, identify your product's value propositions, differentiate your product from the competitors, create internal and external messaging, test that messaging with a select audience, and be sure to get that messaging approved by all stakeholders, from marketing to senior leadership to legal. There are 4 basic premises of writing: clarity, brevity, specificity, and humanity. Specificity is far more difficult, or simplicity, is far more difficult than complexity, not because it's hard to write, but rather because it's hard to trust that what you've written is sufficient. Enjoy, the Coca-Cola Company tagline, seems like it could have taken 10 minutes to come up with, and it may have, but it most likely took thousands of hours and lots of experts to determine it was sufficient. Only in doing the research around the market, your audience, and competitors can you feel confident that simple can be persuasive. So 1 through 3 make sense to me. But what about number 4, humanity? Never lose sight of humanity. You're launching a new product to solve a human problem, to solve someone's pain. Appeal to their humanity through empathy. Tell them how your solution will make their life better. Establish clear goals. First and foremost, connect the dots between corporate objectives and product launch goals. There are 3 different types of launch goals: retention, improving customer satisfaction; top-line growth, increasing revenue by a specific percent; and bottom-line growth, increasing profitability by a certain percent. Ambitious goals make for outstanding achievements. While inspirational, I have to say Nike only got it partially right. It's great to be ambitious in your end goal, but to reach your end goal, you must accomplish all of the little goals along the way. So be sure they're SMART goals. SMART. This is a great way to look at setting any kind of goals in both business, in a product launch, and in your life. S, be specific. What do you want to accomplish? Why do you want to accomplish it? And are there any constraints or requirements? M, measurable. How will you measure progress? How will you know you achieved your goal? A, attainable. Who will help accomplish your goal? Do you have the resources you need to accomplish your goal? R, relevant. Is it even a worthwhile goal? Does it align with your overall strategy? T, time-based. How long will it take? When is it due? And what time can you commit to accomplish your goal? Taking into consideration all of these elements is essential to helping you create goals that you can achieve. 4 other tips for achieving your goals are: solicit input. Your team will be more motivated to help you achieve your goals if they feel like they've been part of setting them. If you don't know what you don't know, you built a team of experts. Trust them to help you navigate this effort just like any other. 2, work Work in bite-sized chunks. Short-term goals will help you achieve your long-term objectives. It's easier to stay focused when you aren't overwhelmed by the enormity of the task. And it's easier to be flexible and shift gears when you work in an agile manner. 3, be consistent. Don't set conflicting goals, and consistently enforce the practices required to achieve your goals. 4, reward success. Whether you provide incentives for key milestones or a reward for reaching the finish line, everyone wants to feel rewarded for their contribution to the end goal. Number 4, build excitement. Internal excitement isn't just that your employees are excited that there's a new product. It's a combination of many things working together to build lasting excitement about your product or solution. First, build a support infrastructure. People and technology are key. Some of the things to consider from the technology front are setting up a new support phone number, establishing a new support queue, creating a product demo, and identifying a demo hosting solution. For best practices on creating a demo, check out our latest blog article. 2, conduct team training. Make sure that the training is at all levels and is specific to the level. From executives to sales to support, training should be ongoing and not just at launch. Be sure to provide training materials so that your team has a leave behind, something to reference when they get back to your desk and you're not there to help them. Create internal buzz. Create an internal launch campaign. Maybe create a rallying cry like, "It's on," or "Make it happen." Host a launch party with related activities that get all of your team involved. If you're in disparate locations, consider related activities that have different offices competing against each other. This is not a one and done. You have to continue to work at it, especially when things don't run smoothly. So tips for effective role-specific training. Be sure to create buyer personas of your internal support team to understand the unique impact on each user's workflow, and to create targeted training tools by role improves your team's readiness. Be sure to prioritize your sales and your support team. Host a training webinar or series of webinars that you can provide on demand after the event. Provide cheat sheets to help find answers quickly and at a glance. And in larger organizations, train a team lead within each department who's responsible for training their smaller teams and is the point of contact for all questions or support needs. Build excitement internally. Advertise your launch. You may have a company intranet or social sites you can advertise it on. Maybe you control all the screensavers in your office. You can post flyers or events in common areas, and be sure to use the free tools at your disposal and email everyone. Host a meeting or a launch party. Create incentives for your team to spread the word. Create a contest for teams to compete for best launch support. Offer monetary incentives for business development for both sales and non-sales professionals. Be sure to make it fun. The secret to marketing success is no secret at all. Word of mouth is all that matters. Seth Godin. What's true for your internal audience is also true externally for your prospective customers. We seek advice or affirmation from others both before we act and after we act. Whether asking for a recommendation for a babysitter or sorting through 1,001 reviews on Amazon, we not only seek the advice of others, but we tend to trust it more than any other form of communication. We look to influencers and tastemakers to spread messages. So find your influencers and give them a big pitcher of Kool-Aid to share. Tell everyone. Build anticipation. Anticipation creates demand. Announce the launch date and stick to it. And be specific in your instructions as to what you want the prospective customer to do when the day arrives. Get media and bloggers excited through outreach. Influencers and tastemakers make the world go round. So prepare a press release or an article that you can share to tell them a little bit more about your product release. Word of mouth is the most powerful tool you have. People trust people. Get reviewed. It's the next best thing to people talking to people. But don't forget, negative word of mouth spreads faster than positive word of mouth. Every one of your colleagues at every interaction is a brand touch point, making your internal readiness and excitement crucial. If they leave a bad impression, it can be detrimental to your overall product launch. Spreading the word costs money. Being that I'm a marketing professional, I could do an entire presentation just on advertising and marketing tools at your disposal, but that should probably be another webinar. For now, the most important thing I can say is be sure to identify a budget when you begin planning. It can get expensive, and you need to make sure that 1, you aren't blindsided, and 2, you're making sure to include the cost per acquisition when you set pricing for your product. This will also be an essential component of budgeting as it pertains to goal number 3, profitability. Traditional rules apply. Build a website. Fill it with informative and compelling content. Drive traffic via advertising, and provide a clear call to action so they know how to get in touch with you or purchase your product. Consider hiring an agency partner who can manage all of this for you. You have enough on your hands. You don't need to project manage anything else. They aren't cheap, but they'll save you money in the long term. Prioritize your activities based on the goals you establish. Use these same goals to measure performance for your marketing efforts. It always costs more and takes longer than you expect. But hey, you're launching a new product, so this is pretty much par for the course. A website and product demo are the absolute minimum commitment, and by themselves could run anywhere from $25,000 to $100,000. Advertising and paid search are smaller recurring charges that can start as low as about $300 a month, and it wouldn't be unreasonable to be upwards of $10,000 a month, or 10 times that depending on your product. Be careful. Improperly set up advertising campaigns can run up big invoices fast, and you won't know until after the bill comes. It's not like traditional advertising where you have a limited budget. Make sure that you're capping your spend daily or setting hurdle rates for your agency based on conversion. And on that note, you can see why this is one of the last slides. If you're interested in a webinar on product marketing, let me know and we'll see how we can fit that into our upcoming calendar. Number 6, timing is everything. My favorite quote about timing is from Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn. If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late. So some of the things to consider while you are determining your timing are market window, business readiness, customer readiness, your type of product, the type of launch, and then there are some things to avoid like holidays, trade show chatter, and M&A activity. Based on these factors, choose a time that's good enough. While your product may not be perfect, sheer timing can make up for what the product lacks. You don't have to swing hard to hit a home run. If you've got the timing, it'll go. Yogi Berra. So that's all I have today, and I'm going to open the floor for questions. Well, I'm not seeing any questions. I'm going to go ahead and give another couple of minutes. But one of the things I was emailed about prior to the event is the concept of an MVP. The idea being that it's not necessarily your most valuable player, but it is your minimum viable product. And I think that that really dovetails into the conversation about being good enough that we concluded the presentation on. And that is, it's okay to go to market with a product that still needs improvement. It's never going to be perfect or all the way there. Even once it's in the marketplace, it's going to continue to evolve. So make sure that you don't delay your product launch beyond that perfect timing for risk that somebody might make it to the market first or might make it to the market with a product that's better or different than yours. So be sure that you're focused on developing the product that is good enough to go to market right now, not necessarily achieves everything you want it to achieve. Doesn't look like we got any more questions while I was talking. So I'm going to give you guys a couple more minutes. If you've got any questions, please let us know. Otherwise, we thank you for your time today and look forward to hearing from you soon. Okie dokie. Well, we'll take that silence as everybody's doing great. So please stay tuned for a link to the webinar recording that you can share with your colleagues and friends. The worksheets that we discussed in the email, we will send out to you after the presentation. And we'll also send you a request for feedback on this webinar so that we can continue to create high-quality webinars for you in the future. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.